All right, let's talk about a tool that's been making huge waves in software development, GitHub Copilot. In this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll look at how it actually works, how you can use it to get stuff done faster, and, this is the big one, the kind of mindset you really need to have to use it like a pro. So, let's jump right in.
I mean, just think about it for a second. What if, while you're coding, you had an assistant right there with you, anticipating what you need next? An assistant that completes your functions and just handles all that tedious boilerplate for you, in real time. Well, that's pretty much the promise of an AI pair programmer.
And that is exactly what GitHub Copilot is. It's not some clunky app you have to switch to. Nope, it lives and breathes right inside your code editor, your IDE. It just becomes part of your natural workflow, quietly suggesting code as you go, all thanks to some seriously powerful AI models from OpenAI.
So how in the world does it actually pull this off? Well, it's not magic, even though it sometimes feels like it. It's actually a really clever and super fast feedback loop. Let's dig into how Copilot thinks.
And believe it or not, this whole process happens in the blink of an eye. It all starts with you. You just write some code, or maybe even just a comment explaining what you want to do. Copilot instantly scans everything around it, the context, and tries to predict what you're going to type next. Then, boom, it gives you a suggestion. But here's the most important part. You're still in charge. You're the one who decides. You can take it, change a little, or just ignore it. You are always in the driver's seat.
But what do we really mean by context? It's more than just the one line you just wrote. Copilot is a lot smarter than that. It's looking at everything: the file you're currently in, other files you have open, the names of your functions and variables, even the libraries you've imported. It pieces all this information together to make a really educated guess, kind of like how a human developer would get their bearings in a new project.
Okay, so the theory is cool and all, but let's see what this looks like in the real world. This is where you really start to feel like you've got a superpower.
So let's say you start by writing a few simple, clear comments in plain English. You're basically just outlining your plan, right? You're saying, okay, first I need to get a user. If they don't exist, I need to handle that. Then I'll map the data to the right format. Simple instructions. And just like that, bam, Copilot takes those high-level instructions and spits out the actual code to make it happen. It translates your intent into logic, functions, annotations, the whole shebang. It's a perfect example of how you can guide the AI to do the heavy lifting for you.
And this is useful for way more than just single functions. The real game changer is using it for all that repetitive, boring stuff. Think about writing all the setup for unit tests or generating getters and setters. And because it's context-aware, it knows about popular frameworks like Spring or React, so its suggestions are actually useful and not just generic code.
But things didn't stop there. The next step in this evolution is Copilot Chat. This completely changes the dynamic. It transforms Copilot from a silent assistant that just gives you suggestions into a full-on conversational partner you can talk to.
With the chat feature, you can literally have a conversation about your code. You can highlight a confusing block of code and ask, hey, what does this do? You can ask it to refactor something to make it better, or even help you track down a nasty bug. It's a whole new level of assistance. It's not just about writing code anymore, but understanding and improving it too.
Now, this brings up a really common question I hear all the time. Should I be using Copilot or ChatGPT? Well, they're designed for different jobs. Copilot is your hands-on coding buddy. It's in your editor, it knows your project. ChatGPT is more like an outside consultant. You go to it for brainstorming, for high-level ideas like system design. One is for building, the other is for planning.
So we know what it is and what it does, but let's get to the real heart of the matter. How should you, as a professional, use this thing? Because it really does require a shift in your mindset. If you remember nothing else, remember this. The absolute best way to think about Copilot is to treat it like a junior developer, a really, really fast one who never gets tired. It's brilliant at taking a well-defined task and getting it done, but it has no real-world experience, no deep understanding of your business. So it's there to help, but you are still the senior engineer who has to review the code and make the final call. And that really shows you the trade-off you're making. On the one hand, the speed is just incredible. It vaporizes all that tedious boilerplate work. On the other hand, you have to remember it can, and it will, make mistakes. It can get the logic wrong, it has no idea about your company's specific business rules, and it is absolutely not a replacement for a thorough code review by a human.
And knowing that means you have to be extra careful in certain areas. When you're working on anything critical, I'm talking security, authorization, financial calculations, anything that's high stakes, your skepticism should be turned up to 11. Never, ever blindly trust a suggestion in these areas. Your expertise here is totally non-negotiable.
But
When you get that balance right, when you use its strengths and you're aware of its weaknesses, the results are just huge. Seriously, we're seeing teams that use Copilot the right way are shipping features 30 to 50% faster. That is a massive, massive productivity boost. Which brings us to the fundamental truth about using a tool like this. Its job is to reduce the effort of typing, not the effort of thinking. It takes care of the mechanical parts so that you can free up your brain power to focus on what really matters: good architecture, solid design, and actually solving the hard problems.
So if there is one golden rule, one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this: Copilot is an amplifier. It takes what you already do and just makes you faster at it. If you have disciplined, strong habits, good testing, clear code, solid reviews, it will make you even better. But if you have bad habits, well, it will help you write bad code faster than you ever thought possible. The responsibility is, and always will be, yours.
And that really is the final question, isn't it? Copilot is more than just a new tool. It's a whole new way of working that forces us to be more deliberate about our craft. So knowing what you know now, how are you going to use it?